Hi, I'm Richard Borden. Welcome to Manlike. Today we have all the way from New Delhi, India, Pastor Daniel Kumar from Good News Center. I'll be right back with this Manlike program. Remember, men only. Well, hello once again, men, all the men who are listening. And we know there's some women who are listening because you have written in. In fact, interestingly, ladies, you've written in more than the men have. But you've written in and said, why can't it be a woman only? Well, that's for another time, another place. This is a Manlike. So ladies, please kindly give the phone, the computer, the tablet to your husband or so they can listen. Okay. So I have on the phone today, I would say all the way from New Delhi, India, but actually right now, currently, he's in Atlanta for a week or so. Pastor Daniel Kumar, good friend for years. How are you?
I'm doing good, Pastor. How are you?
Good. You sound like you're right here, even though you are, but you're leaving. We're doing this this podcast on a Thursday night. You're leaving Monday back to India.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Let's start off with this because there are men out there who are listening. And let me just come straight out and ask you this. I know that men have different cultures from around the world. But do you agree, Pastor Daniel, that men basically have the same needs no matter where they are?
Yeah, the men are men, and the needs are basically everywhere. That's how God has made us. So are basically the same.
Right, basically the same.
All around the world.
Right.
Yes.
So what do you see men in India, because you pastor and lead some money and disciple them, what do you see that men, number one, and we know salvation is always they need Jesus, okay, but let's talk about Christian men. What do you see that they can improve on? Or what do you see they need in their life?
You know, basically God made man as the leader of the house, leader of the family, and it's universal. And in India also, when it's in India, it's a male-dominated society. So men are usually mostly in the community. Men take the prominent place in the leadership.
Right.
Men take a prominent place, and they are the mostly decision makers. Also, they are the head of the family in India. So whether it's a Hindu or Christian or Muslims or any kind of people in family, men are usually given the prominent position.
Right. So and you just said it right there, because that seems to be the dominant factor all over the world. No matter, you've been around the world, you've come to America frequently. It seems to be the area that lacks a lot, that men basically have a struggle at times to take care of the family. And we're talking about money-wise. You're talking about being the spiritual head, correct?
Yes.
Because I know the money issue is there, but just leading, I should say.
Yes, it's not minimizing the place of the woman, but men has a different office. God has given them, a different quality and different responsibility. God has given women a different responsibility.
Right.
And men are supposed to, that's what in India they think that men are supposed to provide for family. That's what they say, that it doesn't matter whether the wife works or not or whatever, but the men are supposed to provide for the family. That's how it goes there in that place. So if a woman says, I don't want to work, I don't want to get out and earn. So people do not look at the woman as like, look at that, you are educated, you have talent, but you are not working. People do not say that, but they look at the men and say that, hey, what's going on? You're not providing for your family. You're not giving the right leadership to your family. So that is what happens. If that is, the children go like they go astray or they do something wrong, it's not the mother or the woman in the family they are to be blamed. It's the men of the family they are to be blamed, and people come,
Right.
the community leaders come, and
Correct.
they come and talk to the father, and they say that, hey, look at your son. You are responsible for your son, and you are supposed to put him in the right track. So it's the responsibility of the man, of the father, who is supposed to bring the family in the right track. So they are the leader, considered to be the leader of the family. And women are the caretaker. They're supposed to care for the family, love the family. So that is what, and like cook for the family. That is what they're supposed to, that's what the in Asian or Indian culture, that's what they do.
You know what? It's so sad. You know, it's so sad. And I say it's sad because you know here in America, a lot of women want to be, and it's fine. They want to be career women. They want to have their careers.
Yes.
But I always say this, yes, you can, but don't forget even women, and we're not so much dealing with women today, but even women need to understand they have a family to take care of. They have a husband.
Yes.
And vice versa. But what you're saying is, all across the board, it seems like that's an area that men struggle with. How do you encourage men, especially in India, to become the head of the family in a right way? Because you deal with so many men on a daily basis.
Yes. The men are, many times even they have the position God has placed them, but they do not want to step into that because it's a scary thing.
Yes,
Take
yes.
leadership to provide for the whole family, and it's a responsibility that it robs you. Some people say it robs me of the freedom that I have, but at the same time, because because God has made family like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we encourage people that we have to be a godly man. We have to step up to our place and give a leadership to people, to our family especially.
Mm-hmm.
And we also tell them that, hey, teaching your children to fear God, teaching your children to be in the ways of God is very, very important. So it's as the man, you have to lead the family the way they should go. And even though there is a saying that men are head of the house, but the women are the neck of the house, neck of the family.
Right, yeah.
The women,
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here.
Yes.
That men are the head and the women are a neck. Okay, but my wife, Sister Nellie, said that she's the whole body.
Right.
She's
but you see that men, the head and the neck, they are coexist. They do not live on their own.
Right.
So the head needs a neck and the neck needs a head. So it has to, this is the responsibility, the way God has made the family.
Wow.
To be together, a different way that the women have a different responsibility, men have a different responsibility. That is what we teach people and we encourage people.
Right,
and
right.
sometimes it's very scary, fearful, but again, when God gives responsibility to someone, He also gives the resources or provide the resources, provide the courage also, and provide every kind of means that we can step into that place.
Right. Well, I got to take a break right now. We've got a break on this, and we'll be going back in a minute. I'm speaking with Pastor Daniel Kumar. Actually, he's here right now, temporary in the United States for a few weeks, but actually, really from New Delhi, India, from Good News Center. And we're going to be back in a minute on this Manlike program. We'll be back to continue on this in a moment. Got that question to ask you. Should you upgrade to a new phone, especially if somebody you know, maybe it may be a wife, or maybe it may be guys, it might be your son or daughter or nephew or cousin or whatever, needs a phone and just needs a phone that just does the basics. Not too long ago I bought my wife a newer phone, but it was something newer, not brand new. I think sometimes in this tip we need to understand that even an older phone still works good. Now I would suggest to you check out and make sure sure that the phone you're going to get, maybe for a child or a younger person, or maybe for somebody who's not so tech savvy, is one that will be able to be upgraded, at least the operating system currently, or at least the past one, because of security updates. So that's important to understand. But we really don't have to go out there all the time and just buy a brand new phone, or even buy an inexpensive phone. I found out it's better sometimes to buy a top-of-the-line phone, but maybe a couple of years older. It can still work for calling calls. It can still work for texting. And at sometimes, depending on your data plan, you can even get it to go ahead and go on the internet and surf. So let me throw this out to you and suggest this to you. Before you run out there and get the next, latest, greatest craze when it comes to phones and spend all that money, you might want to consider, especially dealing with some of the people you might be helping in your family or whatever who needs a phone, that maybe they don't need a phone with all that fancy stuff in it. But at the same time, they get a good quality phone, which you can have checked out. When I bought my wife her first iPhone, I took it to a place, not to advertise, and I asked them to check it out. And basically, I spent $100 and maybe $20-$30 for everything. The phone is 2 years old. The phone is still up to date. I updated the operating system. I updated every update I could for that phone up to that time, and then hand over to her. And because she has a good phone, because all my wife needs to do is call, text, and that's really it. That's all she needs to do. So let me close with this in this tip. Please keep this in mind. Sometimes it's not really worth it to spend all that money when all you got to do is go out there, get a high quality phone. It's kind of like getting a high quality car that's a few years old at a lower price. Well, hello once again. Welcome back, men. All you men out there listening. I am talking to Pastor Daniel Kumar from New Delhi, India, pastor of Good News Center. And we're talking about men across the board. Isn't that right, Pastor Daniel? Men in India, men in America. And we've already agreed that men basically, except for the culture, men basically have the same needs, the same desires, the same wants, and the same responsibilities. We agree upon that, correct?
That's right. That's right.
But then, and that is, men need to be responsible. And then you talk about how you have taught men and showed men their responsibility in there. Let me ask another. I might be sidetracking a little bit, but let me go into this question here. Maybe there's a man out there, Pastor Daniel, who is here in America or some other part of the world that's listening, and they would like to go to India. And they would like to help in something in India. What encouraging words do you have for them? They might be struggling, say, should I go? Maybe I can't go. What would you say to them? Because I know you have people come from all over the world who've come to the ministry.
Yes. Pastor, many people in America God has placed them in a wonderful, wonderful country. This country is blessed country. Sometimes I think, when God promised the Israelites, I will take you to a land overflowing with milk and honey. Mm-hmm. And you look at America. Some people might say, when you go to a restaurant in Texas, look at how much food they give. Like, it's so much food. You go to in anywhere. You go to the grocery store. Look at the people, how much grocery they buy. Right. There is so much plenty. You go to the houses. Thanksgiving is coming now. So when you cook on the Thanksgiving, if you have 10 people, those who are coming to the Thanksgiving, then you cook for 50 people. So much food. So this country is blessed, and there is, some people might say there is a lot of wastage. But our God is a God of abundance. So when there is abundance, when there is overflowing, there is also wastage. So right. When you see wastage here in this country, then people might say it's a wastage, and we should not waste. We should not be wasteful.
Right.
But at the same time, it's overflowing. You can see the abundance of God in this country. So this country is blessed. And people here in this place, when they do not know, probably if they've never been to a third world country like Asia or some of the countries in Africa, they will never know the difference.
Correct. That's good.
Like that, there is so much poverty everywhere. You will see that how much I would encourage people that it will be wonderful. Even for it's good that you go and help in that place, but it will be a blessing for you to see what God has for you and how much God has blessed you, to see that and be thankful to God.
Right.
And then
Right.
also, I would also encourage that when you go there is so much of need. People need not only financial need, not only they do not have food, but there are some encouragement you can come up with and say, hey, how can I help you? And you can serve. So they will be blessed, and then you will be also blessed, knowing that abundance of God in your family, in your country. This country is a wonderful and a great country. And,
right. And it will definitely open, because I remember the first time I went. And I went over there, and I remember when I arrived, I had another gentleman with me, and you guys took him. It was about 3, 4 in the morning, or 2, 3 in the morning, and I went with Marianne and Dr. Rhodes at that time, and I was just totally shocked. It was 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, it was like I was in a different world. You know, and don't get me wrong, my mother, as you know, is from Jamaica, from the island of Jamaica. And I spent a few years down there as a young man, and as a young lad, before I was a teenager. And that was I was totally shocked. When I say shocked, I didn't say, I wouldn't say to you, I'm trying to find the right word, that I was but I was like, wow, you know, this is really another world. It's the same world. And you're right. So, and maybe this is the part that, as we bring this to a close, that this is encouraging men to get out of their shell and go to a place like India, correct? And go out there and help for it. Go ahead.
Exactly. Sometimes people think that it's very scary. People are, it's very dangerous there. Actually, India has no danger.
Right. Correct.
People think that it's a different world, but it's a very safe place, a wonderful place, a wonderful tourist place. That you have a wonderful Taj Mahal there in that place. It's a beautiful piece of art there in that place. People are wonderful people. People are very loving, and you go to some people's house, and they will
and they just look after you.
They will look after. They treat you like king.
Right.
So it's like, you remember the story of Abraham when he was under the tree.
Right.
Under the tree, and there were some strangers, those were passing by, and he just runs to them and say, I beg you, please come to my home. So you don't do this in America, but this is what India is. You know, when you see strangers, because they believe that even God comes in the form of strangers and visits them.
That's so true.
They go out and they look after them.
Right.
They may not have too much, but they will take care. There are good and there are bad in every country. But in India, if you go to a place, and that will be wonderful to visit that place. Not only for the culture. Culture is very rich, and some people say it's a pagan religion. The country is a Hindu country. How are we going to survive there? It's a wonderful place, and people are loving.
Right, and I know that. I know that as a fact. One of my favorite.
Biblical culture.
You know, it was never top 10 on my list when I told the Lord I wanted to go into the nations. It was way at the bottom, but now it's become, it's all the way up on top. So that was interesting, the times I've been. And I want to say to every man out there, we want to say, Pastor Daniel, we want to encourage them to go on a mission trip to India or whatever other country God is calling you. Just step out, men, and do it, right? Do it.
Yeah. When they go there, if they come to our ministry there, they can work in the orphanage, they can work in the slum school, they can see the poverty, they can see also the riches. They can go to the cell groups and preach, and they can do if they are not very effective here, let them step out and come to India, and they will see.
Right. Well, you know what? We got to bring this to a close, but before you go, before we say goodbye to you, can you please? There might be some men listening who want to give. And we want to give them that opportunity. They want to give towards, and a beautiful thing on this podcast, we can say that, and they want to give. For those in America, who should they write to? Where should they send their checks to?
They can write their check to Good News Center, Good News Center.
Good News Center.
And send it to P.O. Box 2135, Duluth, Georgia 30096.
Okay, say it one more time. Do the address one more time. P.O. Box?
P.O. Box 2135, Duluth, D-U-L-U-T-H, Duluth, Georgia 30096. And their checks they should write in the name of Good News Center.
Good News Center. Well, we want to say once again, Pastor Daniel, thank you. We're going to have you back on this Manlike podcast again. We just had a great time. And by the time we talk to you next time, you'll be in India, probably. So we'll be talking to you then. And then, well, anyway, God bless you. And we just want to say thank you once again for being on the Manlike podcast. Well, men, there you have it, all the way from New Delhi, India. Hey, guys, you heard Pastor Daniel. Step out there and give out by faith and go to India. And in fact, you heard the address, and you can write. You'll see it in the show notes. Please write, send a blessing and offering in to help this ministry that Pastor Daniel has with orphanages and feeding the hungry and medical and so forth and schools. You will be blessed. And Bible translation, we could keep going on. Once again, thank you for listening to the Manlike program. Remember, men only. Manlike is a production of Love Gospel Network. You can see more and hear more at lovegospelnetwork.com.